for this live KOMU 8 News broadcast. Brought to you by Bob McCosh Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Your live broadcast of KOMU 8 News will begin momentarily. Brought to you by Bob McCosh Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Your live broadcast of KOMU 8 News will begin momentarily. Brought to you by Bob McCosh Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Your live broadcast of KOMU 8 News will begin momentarily. Brought to you by Bob McCosh Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Your live broadcast of KOMU 8 News will begin momentarily. Brought to you by Bob McCosh Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Your live broadcast of KOMU 8 News will begin momentarily. Brought to you by Bob McCosh Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Don't mess up that one. Okay. Sorry, this is kind of a makeshift.
Nobody needs this thing, right? All right. Everybody's got what stuff where they want it? Oh, man. A whole bunch of you people here on Christmas week. That's good. Okay, we'll get going. I think it's safe to say that I join Chiefs Kingdom in my disappointment to the decision that was announced earlier about the Chiefs' intention to go to Kansas. Arrowhead Stadium, I think Clark Hunt said it the best in his statement, that his father brought that team to Arrowhead because it was the best venue for fans in the United States. Arrowhead Stadium is still the best venue for fans in the United States. Every game at Arrowhead is like going to a Super Bowl. It's more than just a brick and mortar facility. It is what Lamar Hunt built. It is his legacy. And I think making a decision that tells Chiefs Kingdom that maybe that's not so important anymore is at least disturbing to me, and I'm sure to other Chiefs fans. Missouri put together a very competitive package, but we said all along, every time any of you asked me about it, and I think looking around the room, everybody did, that whatever the economic development package that we put together for that business called the Chiefs, it had to be a good return on investment for Missourians. I mean, Kansas is about to leverage $2.1 billion of Kansas taxpayer revenue to make this deal happen. I can't see where the numbers would pencil on that as a business person when it would be a good deal for Missourians. So with that, I'll open it up and take some questions and see what's on your mind.
Governor, is this over? Is there anything else Missouri can do to try to reverse this?
Well, nothing's ever over. As you know, there's a lot of pieces to work through this deal. There's real estate acquisitions. There's multiple different parts. I haven't seen the term sheet. I'm sure at some point in time that will become public. So I don't close many doors. You guys know that. I'm not a bridge burner. And I'm always willing to listen and find a way if it becomes available. I'm sure we'll work with the other local folks up there to resurrect the conversation.
What does this do to the Royals and this office's efforts in that regard?
Well, I haven't seen a comment from them publicly yet, but I've heard through some conversations over the weekend as this was developing, they're keeping their options open. If I'm the Royals, I'm in the driver's seat now. I'm the team that you want to keep in Missouri, and I know that speaking today with Mayor Lucas and County Executive Lavoda, they're very interested in continuing that conversation. Royals are also a great legacy team that we would love to keep in Missouri, and we will do everything we can to continue those conversations.
Will rolling out your income tax plan change whatsoever because of this announcement today? Because we'll be losing out on some of that tax revenue.
Well, no. I mean, Missourians that lose their jobs because this move happens will be able to find another job, I'm quite confident, in Kansas City, Missouri, and keep their state tax. It does not change the plans for us to roll that out. That's a major policy piece that needs to be done. Our current tax code was written in the 1930s, and it's about time for Missourians to be able to keep more of their money in their pocket. I still think as we unveil the plans and details of that, it'll become clear it's a great thing for our economy.
Leader Lonnie suggested today that the income tax plan essentially made the incentives for the Chiefs and Royals worthless. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I don't know where she bases that on. I would say that's not accurate. The plan that we had for the Chiefs and now still exists on the table for the Royals would not be affected by this plan. And nobody, including her, has seen the details of it. So I'm not sure where she would be grasping for that.
Do you bear some of the blame, I guess, for this not happening just based on timing and the deal not being as big as Kansas?
Well, you know, Kirk, to answer your question, Harry Truman once said the buck stops here, right? It's not fun to be at the top of the ship when something like this comes, but you certainly do want to try to figure out what the lessons learned here are and moving forward. And we will obviously doing some post-mortem analysis, but to David's statement earlier, I never give up.
When did the Chiefs inform you that they were going to Kansas?
This morning.
What did they tell you when they did that?
That they had worked through the weekend on some details of a deal, that they would be working with the LLC, I think is what they call the Kansas, I call it the MDFB of Missouri, sorry, and that over the weekend they came to some agreement on those terms, and that they would be putting forth what the details of that were to that group that met at 1 o'clock.
At what point did they stop talking to this office or to anyone else in Jefferson City about the Missouri plan?
We had great calls last week with the Chiefs ownership group. Well, I shouldn't say the Chiefs ownership. I should say with the Chiefs management group. I'll correct myself. Multiple times last week, and I think, as you know, we've said, both the Chiefs and Royals, we talk to them every 10 days or so about different pieces of what they need and what's going on and how we can be helpful.
Do you think the lack of support in Jackson County for this the first time around in April?
Well, you know, I always tell people to live life in the windshield, not in the rearview mirror. But certainly that's what precipitated, before I was ever in this office, Kansas bringing their offer forward with the Star Bonds. At least that's right.
How does Missouri recover now that we're losing? This would be 2 NFL teams that we have lost.
Well, we have to continue to work on other economic development opportunities. I mean, Arrowhead Stadium is one of the best stadiums in the world. And you know how we know that? FIFA picked it. It's a stadium that is well recognized as a venue and I would say a sports clientele, especially on the Missouri side, that loves the outdoor experience of a football game. It's a legacy stadium with legacy fans. I'm not sure a stadium that's built like a country club is what Chiefs fans are going to want. So we have to continue to find ways, Elisa, that we always, in any economy, you have a setback, and then you figure out a way to go forward. Certainly a harder one to fill because it's not a manufacturer. It's not somebody just going to jump into Arrowhead Stadium. But we'll work together to recover.
I was at a social occasion over the weekend, and someone suggested come back in a couple of 100 years, and the Truman Sports Complex will look like the Roman Coliseum. The suggestion being that it's a publicly owned facility, and it's going to fall apart as a result of this. Is there a risk of that?
Yeah, I think it's way too early to find out. Chiefs are going to be in that stadium for the next 4 or 5 years, I believe, until 2030, I think is the last season they'll play there. So I'm sure between now and then, Jackson County, as you know, and the Jackson County Sports Authority is who operates that stadium. I'm sure County Executive Lavoda and the Jackson County legislators will be looking at options on what they should do with that venue.
The outline of what was announced today was a stadium with an entertainment district, hotels, bars, restaurants. Knowing that, was that in line with what they were talking with the state of Missouri about Arrowhead or some other location in Missouri?
Yeah, there were multiple different conversations to answer your questions about what the area around the existing Arrowhead Stadium would look like. We didn't get into much details about the entertainment district that might happen, et cetera. Multiple times the reference was to something like the Dallas Cowboys have in their training facility, and if you've been down to Dallas, which I have. So there was it kind of in reference to that, but never an exact plan to that, what that might look like.
For one more.
There is also part of the Kansas plan, a separate Chiefs headquarters of some kind in Johnson County, whereas the stadium and training facility would be in Wyandotte County. Was that ever part of the Missouri plan?
That was never part of the discussions with the Chief ownership group. The Chiefs headquarters now be in Olathe, Kansas. So I think that's interesting for the Kansas City Chiefs to be based in Olathe. But that's the decision they made. That we were never a part of those conversations.
Can you just give us your summary? Why do you think Missouri lost the Chiefs?
Well, the Chiefs definitely have pieces of their management team and maybe the family. I haven't asked the family this directly. That think a dome stadium and landing a Super Bowl would be really big for the organization. And I believe that that's the piece that they were most interested in. And going forward, I think that's what they wanted. They thought new and shiny was better than old and reliable, and that's the decision apparently they're making. But again, to answer your question earlier, we won't give up. We'll look for cracks in the armor and find out if there's a Missouri Show Me solution through our Sports Act that the legislature, thanks to them, put through and offered. So I appreciate men and ladies of the House and Senate who worked on that bill.
I think that's all we have time for. We've covered everything. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas to y'all. You bet. You bet.